그때 엄청 힘들죠. 아, 이렇게 해야 내가 이런 몸이 나와야 되는데, 그럼 이렇게 몸이 가벼우면 노래는 어떻게 해야 되고 춤은 어떻게 춰야 되지? 그런적인 부분도 너무 제 멘탈을 지치게 하는 거예요. 그래서 이게 약간 좀 나랑 맞는 건가? 라는 생각을 되게 많이 했던 것 같아요. 다이어트 하면서.
얼마나 힘들었을까요?
이런 생각이 좀 많이 들면서 저를 생각해서 나왔던 것 같아요.
And it's not just grueling diet plans. It's an open secret that K-pop agencies keep the social lives of their talents on a tight leash. Who they meet, who they talk to, are usually kept under close watch, with little care for privacy.
제가 몰랐지만 우울증이랑 공황장애가 있어서 사람을 못 만나겠더라고요. 사람을 못 만나겠으니까 대중교통도 힘들고.
So did you have to go through everything on your own, or did you ever receive any kind of mental health support from anybody else?
저는 할 수 있는 게 이제 멤버들이랑 얘기하고 의지할 수 있는 거, 그거 외로는 딱히 없었던 것 같아요. 그래서 더 힘들고 버텨야 했던 게 더 많고 견뎌야 했던 게 더 많았던 것 같아요.
K-pop trainees are getting younger and younger, you know, some even starting to prepare from the age of like 9 or 10. Having gone through it yourself, you know, how do you feel about that?
저는 너무 마음이 아픈 것 같아요. 정말 하고 싶은 건 당연히 이해가 돼요. 어떤 꿈에 대해서 내가 너무 하고 싶고 어떻게 보면 화면에 비춰진 그런 화려함과 그런 것들 때문에 내가 하고 싶은 어떤 꿈을 가지는 건 정말 좋은데, 제가 어릴 때 해본 그런 걸로 봤을 때 사실 너무 마음이 아파요. 뭘 겪어야 되는지 너무 알고, 약간 사실 외적인 것도 되게 신경 써야 될 게 많고, 뭐 다이어트면 다이어트, 정말 자기가 필요하다 싶으면 그런 얼굴도 사실 성형하는 분들도 되게 많잖아요. 근데 그런 거가 이제 케이팝 하고 싶은 아이돌 분들의 어떤 그런 워너비 나이가 지금 점점 어려지고 있으니까 정말 감당할 수 있는 건가? 이런 좀 걱정이 되게 많은 것 같아요.
Yoojin now hopes to carve a career of her own as an independent singer. Few have made it in Korea without entertainment labels to back them. But now with platforms like YouTube, I'd like to believe that Yoojin has a shot.
It's one thing to read about in the media how difficult trainee and debut life might be, but I think it's another to sit across face to face with a human being and for her to tell you that she only ate a handful of almonds. It's a testament to how much this industry requires of the people who keep it running. And so when I see that she got out and she made that decision for herself, said, you know what, this is not for me, it is very refreshing to hear that.
Having grown up as a minority feeling like I had something to prove, I understand Korea's drive to be exceptional at all costs, but its determination to forge a new legacy over the shadow of its past has come with a terrible price. And yet, in my time here, I've also seen its positive influence. It's given Koreans so much pride and so much confidence in the transformative power of their creativity and talent.
As a Korean American, yeah, it makes me really proud to see that. Korea has always been a country that's been overshadowed and colonized by other countries. And to see it be able to step out into the spotlight like this in such a spectacular fashion is frankly amazing to me.
Understanding the circuitry may be the key to understanding mental health.
和平不会是天上自己掉下来，其实和平是靠争取。
The act of making is bringing that idea into reality.
People are burnt everywhere.
The ransomware attack can come from anywhere in the world.
A perfect storm of disruptions has put the world's most critical resources under threat.
Zulu Orchestra was representing Afghan girls with only one thing all of us want, to come back home and restore it.
To steal them and call it a business is a crime.
What would happen in the days and months following a nuclear detonation?
Witness the hidden world of curious creatures.
Dạ không, đây là món dân dã. Tại nó rất là rẻ tiền, và nó ngon nữa.
Venture into the heart of love scam operations in Cambodia.
Asian hate still lingers in the UK.
One of the longest school closures in the world. A new and disturbing form of terror is emerging.
ಬಾರ್ಸದೇನು ಕಾಣಲ್ಲ ನಾನು ಸೌಂಡ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ.
This is really nice.
What if we knew how to escape death?
We should do everything we can to fight for them because they're not giving up.
Catch some of these award-winning series exclusively on CNA.
Behind Singapore's culinary offerings, there are more than 48,000 people working to keep the $4 billion food manufacturing business ticking. From staples like bread and noodles to treats like chocolates and ice cream, a wide variety of foods are produced in Singapore. But without raw ingredients from around the world to make these food items, even the humble bread would be impossible.
We source raw ingredients from local sources and from overseas sources too. Wheat comes from USA, Canada, and Australia. Flour comes from local millers and millers from Malaysia. Skim milk comes from Australia. Raisins comes from California, USA. Functional ingredients such as lactobacilli comes from Japan. During COVID, what we found was there was definitely a supply shortage, or at least in the delivery of some of the ingredients. But we do keep enough stocks. Some of our stocks can run for 6 months, those that are not so perishable, some from 2 to 3 months.
Gardenia makes 200,000 breads and buns daily. Like other local food manufacturers, they were hit hard by the border shutdown with Singapore's neighbor. Over 300,000 Malaysians cross the causeway daily to work in Singapore.
Most of our production staff and operation staff, they actually ride their motorbikes to come to Singapore to work in our factories. We had this great challenge of finding manpower. And of course, we couldn't do it overnight. So immediately what we did was we closed our small production unit, moved the workers to the main line, which produces white and wholemeal bread. We managed to work with the union to get workers from other industries who had suffered during the COVID.
One strategy to future-proof against such disruptions is to increase automation. Singapore's food manufacturing industry has been emphasizing the need to implement automation, mechanization, and robotics. This is part of the country's bid to be a leader in the global food tech market, which is estimated to be worth some $335 billion by 2022.
Food technology, even globally, is an emerging area. There's limited expertise, limited talents, and we have to build these capabilities over time, and also the commercialization skills. This is an area, however, that Singapore sees as important and strategic, and we are prepared to invest the resources and also take a patient view towards developing it. And we expect to drive nearly 100 million investments in the coming years into disruptive agri-food tech companies.
Cell-based milk, 3D food printing, jackfruit meat, cricket protein, lab meat, and so much more. Singapore's food innovation startups are pushing boundaries. By 2050, the world will need to be producing 70% more food with significantly less natural resources. In a region which prides itself on its rich food landscape, can we get used to a whole new way of eating?
Jakarta's notorious traffic congestion is also a sign of growing prosperity for the capital's 10 million inhabitants. I'm Saiful Bahri Ismail, CNA, Jakarta.
This is Asia Tonight.
Good evening, I'm Dawn Tan. Tonight's top stories. Russia's Prime Minister hails unprecedented relations with China, despite sensational pressure from the West. It's the highest level visit by a Russian official to China since the start of the war in Ukraine. A vow to safeguard China's interests, Beijing's new ambassador to the United States acknowledges serious difficulties as relations fester between the two superpowers. India and Australia bolster diplomatic and economic ties, striking new agreements on migration and green hydrogen as PM Narendra Modi makes his first visit down under since 2014. The future of Imran Khan's political party in the crosshairs. The Pakistani defense minister saying the government is mulling a ban on Tehreek-e-Insaf amid political turmoil over the former prime minister's arrest. And 50 million people trapped in modern slavery today. A new study finds a sharp rise in human exploitation, with North Korea and Eritrea continuing to top the list.
I'm Jill Newbronner. Also tonight, ferocious winds and torrential rain descend on the U.S. territory of Guam as Typhoon Mawar draws near. It's expected to be the worst storm to hit the Pacific island in decades. Billions of dollars in deals and pledges are set to be exchanged at Malaysia's biggest maritime and aerospace exhibition. Hundreds of companies from dozens of countries showcase the latest innovations in their field.
And I'm Roland Lim with your business update. Now, China's benchmark stock index erases all of its 2023 gains, making it one of the worst performers of the year. Plus, our correspondent in New Delhi gives us the latest as Indians begin exchanging 2,000 rupee notes.
I'm Ishan Garg in New Delhi. India's central bank has announced that it's going to withdraw these 2,000 rupee notes eventually. Now, are Indians in a rush to get rid of these notes? I take to the streets and to the banks to find out the impact of the government's move to cull these notes.
Russia and China have affirmed their determination to support each other's core interests. In a further sign of strengthening an alliance that is looked upon with growing suspicion in the West. Russian Prime Minister Mikhail Mishustin, before a meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping in Beijing, described bilateral ties as being at an unprecedented high during his meeting with